Hey up lads and lasses, Fletch here from Ultimate Halo, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're still as hyped for Halo Infinite as ever. I understand that a lot of people are quite disappointed with some things. I remember seeing the gameplay trailer for the first time and loving it, then some of the issues started to sink in, but the more I've actually watched it, the more hyped I'm starting to get once again. Recently I've been thinking about why I love the idea of an open world Halo game, and not just for the obvious reasons either, just like walking around and just exploring things. There are also some reasons why I think it's the right time in the franchise's history to do this, and I'm going to cover some of these in this video. As such, I'm going to give you 7 mental open world possibilities for Halo Infinite, and make sure you hit subscribe because I'm trying to reach 100k, and doing that in the next couple of months would be such a huge dream come true. I'd appreciate your support, and I'd also like to know in the comment section down below, do you prefer an open world kind of Halo game, or would you prefer linear structures? I kind of like to know how that balances out. Personally, of course it's open world, I'd love to see it tried, but obviously we don't know yet until we play the game. So, enjoy.
Ultimate Halo.
First up on this list is Zeta Halo. The ring we're now confirmed to be on in Halo Infinite could possibly change over time. 343 have nailed down on that Halo Infinite is a live service game, and it became evident that campaign DLC is quite the possibility. So who's to say that the map cannot be expanded upon or altered over time? For me this is huge, but it's also a double-edged sword. I love the idea because it keeps the game fresh and adds some awesome replay value to the game, unlike anything we've seen before in the franchise. But if it was to be a thing, then we might never be able to play the vanilla experience again down the line because the world has changed so much. Let's say for example the Flood are not in the game at launch. This could be a real shame, but it's more than possible that 343 could incorporate them into a future update. Then from there we can have parts of the ring segmented and quarantined, much like we see in Halo Wars 2, and have that area purely dedicated to the Flood. I couldn't think of anything cooler than this. You could walk into an area and suddenly see it change and have it just look disgusting and an infective mess that switches the tone of the game immediately. Then other things could change over time, such as secret areas that could be unlocked. For example, the hidden doors in Call of Duty Warzone. This game has these doors all around the map which has fans going crazy as to what's behind them. So who's to say they can't have these things open over time? There are so many opportunities to be had, and honestly that excites the hell out of me, so hopefully that is something that 343 will deliver on. The next thing I want to cover in this video is something that has been teased and shown on a smaller scale, but I think it could lead up to something that's much bigger. You see this on both the reveal trailer and the first gameplay video. Well, wildlife seems to be quite plentiful in this game, and 343 seem to be really trying to sell to us that this game is a living, breathing world. But like any world, wouldn't you think there are bits of life out there that are less cute and more threatening? Well, I personally do. To really sell this world, the player needs to also feel some level of danger, and I think this is a huge possibility that we could see some dangerous wildlife to fight against in this world. Great examples of this could be the Gueta from Halo Reach or the Blind Wolves from Halo CE's demo. Of course it doesn't have to be exactly them, but what I think would be great is that if these animals could act sneaky and jump up on the player at any point. At the end of the day, they're trying to survive on the ring like the primitive animals they are, so having the jump on the chief would be a great dynamic compared to your normal enemies that are more forward and aggressive, whereas animals can try and jump on you from the bushes. I think this is quite likely given everything we've seen so far, and I think it could help sell the world and be even greater to see all these different animals interacting with each other and maybe even fighting. Let's say these little dudes at the start of the gameplay demo, they could be getting attacked by some sort of cheetah or cat or something like that. After all, it's clear that 343 are investing a lot into their AI in this game, and why can't the animals be a part of that too? Either way, my fingers are crossed for this one, but I think we've got a lot yet to see, so my fingers are indeed crossed. Okay, I'll be honest on this one because I kind of stole it from Hidden Xperia, but I'm going to try and build up on it a little bit because it's such a great idea. So we all know there's going to be a day-night cycle in Halo Infinite, and trust me, I'm going to be straight on that making a time-lapse to show off what it'll look like because I bet it will look incredible. However, day and night might look cool, but will it also have some sort of impact on the gameplay? Well, I would hope that this is the case because Luke gave an idea that Spec Op elites could patrol the world at night, which would be kind of scary if you ask me. Wandering around in the dark, having one of those dudes sneak up on you with a sword would be so damn cool. Then building upon my last idea, who's to say we can't have different wildlife as part of the day and night cycle? Obviously there are nocturnal animals all over our world, so why couldn't this be the case on Zeta Halo? This would really sell the world and what existing type of enemies we have as well. Another cool thing is, do you remember playing Combat Evolved on the Mission 2 Betrayals or Nightfall from Halo Reach? It was both humorous and cute to see the grunts sleeping, and it would be cool to see them being asleep so you can get the jump on, let's say, the brutes or the elites to really give those different combat scenarios during the night time. It does change the pacing quite significantly, and another cool thing I would like to see is that different missions could become available on your TAC map based on the time of day. This would encourage you to stick around for a bit, and actually having to wait would even sell the world even more. And a great example of this is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The reason why I love this world is because certain things happen at certain times, making you feel like time is passing, and it connects you to it even more than a standard game might do so. Either way, this is a big wish, and even if it's not there for launch, it's hopefully something that I would hope would happen in the future. The next possibility I want to talk about is filling in opportunities to tell stories from all characters that are established in the franchise. I've said for many years now that Halo has a bit of a problem on the character front, and there are so many loose ends and arcs that need to be completed or resolved. This was one of the reasons why I was quite concerned about Halo Infinite. Would they have to drop a lot of the characters just to invoke a chief-driven story, or would they be able to implement them in a way that gets everybody screen time? Well, I'm still a little bit skeptical about all of this. It's really difficult to say at this point, but I think it's possible that having an open world can aid this. The reason why I think this is the case because it gives the characters not only the opportunity to be scattered around the world serving different functions rather than just being crammed into linear levels, but they can also serve their own purposes, and at launch they can also be implemented down the line as the world and the game develops. I do know not a lot of people like him, and I did a Twitter post not so long ago with my own SFM work with Chief and Locke, but generally people don't seem to care for him as a character. I would like to see how this story pans out over the time, because at the end of the day, Locke did help save Chief and the rest of Blue Team, so he deserves a chance for fans to see his story play out, I believe. It's hard to say how this will pan out right now, as 343 were keeping the story very close to the chest, but my fingers are crossed nonetheless. My next pick on this list is actually pretty straightforward, but a big one nonetheless, because I think Coop in Halo Infinite will be absolutely nuts. I'm going to link back to a screenshot from a short gameplay trailer we got right at the end, and you can see a warthog jumping off a massive cliff, and it just got me thinking about all the stupid stuff you can possibly do with your friends. Diving off cliffs, grappling onto each other, and we haven't even seen all of the possibilities for the sandbox, and I'd just love to see if you can choose your own character to play as, much like Halo 5. Maybe you could play as the Arbiter again, or somebody in Blue Team, another Elite, or maybe even your multiplayer Spartan, which would feel so cool to do alongside the Master Chief. There's nothing like exploring an open world with your friends, whether it's GTA, Red Dead, or Skyrim, or whatever else you like to play. It's a super simple one, but a lot of fun is to be had going forward. My penultimate pick of this list is to do with the deep lore of Halo. Halo Infinite has been described as a jumping on point for new fans. You don't need to know anything about the old games, and you can just jump in and pick up the pieces fairly quickly. However, being Halo fans, we love a bit of lore here and there, and with the game being based on Zeta Halo, there are honestly so many opportunities. It has been discussed that in this shot, Chief is in front of Medicant Bias with these 3 lights, and it is possible given the 3 eyes that the character has, but this game has plenty of opportunities to allow the player to discover the deep lore behind the game through the terminals, hidden locations, writings on the wall, and so much more. There are a lot of chances to let fans really dig deep into the backstory of Halo. Where's the Didact? What's Medicant Bias been doing? 343 Guilty Spark is kind of alive, so is he wandering the galaxy just yet? But either way, open worlds allow for hidden secrets and possibilities, and hopefully Halo Infinite can take advantage of this to really satisfy the lore fans, and I think the possibilities are just exciting, to say the least. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have references to places in previous Halo games. What I would love to do is have areas that show off the new game world, but also those that references places we've been in the past. Halo rings, as we can clearly see, are very modular and likely designed to be quite similar in a lot of ways, so it'd be cool to see if we can go back to places like Combat Evolved where we first saw the Flood for the first time, just as a little throwback and an Easter egg within the environment. I appreciate that Zeta Halo was part of a different generation of Halo rings, but still, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because I loved it when COD Warzone did this, where they can incorporate all parts of maps, contextualize into new areas that felt natural in a way that can show fans great fan service. I doubt a lot of this will be done, and it's a hope of mine 343 considered this throughout development, but I just really want to hone in on people's nostalgia and really create that feeling of deja vu. So hopefully all of these mentioned picks can become a reality, but as the cheesy line always says, the possibilities are indeed infinite. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Once again, my name is Jack Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on the one and the only Ultimate Halo.
Subscribe now to Ultimate Halo for more unfriggin' believable Halo content.